Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine you take a single video feed and just like instantly turn 12 separate televisions into one giant unified window.
Right, like those massive multi-screen video walls you see when you walk into a sports bar or, a data command center.
Exactly. And our mission today for this deep dive is to uncover the hidden hardware that actually makes that possible.
Because taking 12 disparate screens and making them act as one single canvas requires some incredibly uh, specialized routing.
Which brings us to our source material for today. We're looking at a product specification page from HDTV Supply for a device called the WolfPack 4K 60Hz 3x4 video wall processor.
Yeah, it's essentially the brain behind the whole visual spectacle.
Right. And, reading through these specs, I realized my initial assumption was totally wrong. I thought this thing was just like a basic splitter.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people think that.
But it's actually more like a digital jigsaw puzzle master. It
Ah,
takes one giant package of video data, instantly slices it into perfectly measured boxes, and routes them to exactly the right screen.
at 60 frames a second, no less.
Yeah, but here's where I need you to help me out. If it's taking a standard video feed and just stretching it across 12 distinct screens, doesn't that make it look, I don't know, pixelated and terrible?
Well, what's fascinating here is the sheer bandwidth this device handles to prevent exactly that. I mean, this is a $2,050 rack-mounted box, so it's not just lazily striking a 1080p image and hoping for the best.
Okay, so what is it doing instead?
To get that crisp picture, it takes a native 4K signal and mathematically maps the precise pixel coordinates across the entire 12-screen grid.
Ah,
And it's outputting 4K at 60 Hz, specifically using 4.4.4 color at 18 gigabits per second.
wait, hold on. Let's translate that 4.4.4 part for a second, because 18 gigabits per second is a massive data pipeline. Why does it need that much room?
It needs that pipeline because that 4.4.4 rating means it isn't compressing the color data at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a lot of standard video, adjacent pixels will actually share color information to save bandwidth. But here, every single pixel on that massive wall gets its own dedicated color info.
Wow. Okay, so that prevents the washed out, muddy look you'd usually get when stretching an image across all those screens, whether it's a 3x4, a 2x5, or a 1x2 configuration.
Exactly. It keeps the image pristine.
So the processor guarantees the pixels are perfect, but having a pristine image creates like a new physical problem. When you stack 12 physical TVs together, you get these thick plastic grid lines slicing right through your pristine 4K video.
Right, the borders of the TVs themselves.
Yeah, which leads me to this genuinely bizarre detail I found in the spec sheet. It lists a feature called the 180-degree image flip function. Why on earth would anyone want to intentionally flip their video upside down?
Okay, so if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's actually a brilliant workaround for the physical limitations of the screens. It all comes down to bezel correction.
Bezel correction. So the frames of the TVs.
Right. Most standard flat screens have a much thicker bezel at the bottom to house, the brand logo and remote sensors and stuff. But the top edge is usually ultra thin.
Oh, I see where this is going. If you stack them normally, that thick bottom edge sits right flush against the thin top edge of the TV below it.
Yeah, which creates this massive, uneven black line right through the middle of the wall.
So to make the video wall look seamless, professional installers will literally mount that top row of TVs completely upside down.
They do. That way, the ultra-thin top bezels of both the upper and lower TVs meet right in the middle. It creates a razor-thin seam.
Okay, that makes perfect sense physically. But obviously, if the TV is upside down, the picture is going to be upside down.
And that's exactly where the WolfPack processor steps in. Since those top TVs are physically inverted on the wall, the processor digitally flips the top half of the video feed 180 degrees before it ever even hits the screen.
Oh, wow. So the final result just looks perfectly right side up to you, the viewer. It completely masks the hardware trick.
Yep, it handles all the heavy lifting behind the scenes.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Well, the next time you're sitting in a sports bar and you see a massive 12-screen setup playing perfectly in sync, maybe even playing directly from a USB disk, which, by the way, this processor also supports, you'll know exactly what's happening.
There's a single, highly specialized processor back there, mathematically sorting pixels and digitally flipping images to trick your eye.
It's crazy.
It really leaves you wondering about the future of commercial and home displays, though. I mean, if this one box can seamlessly stitch 12 disparate screens into a single 4K reality today, what happens when display technology becomes entirely modular?
Oh, that's a wild thought.
Right. Just imagine a near future where our walls aren't just like holding TVs, but are actually constructed of hundreds of tiny interchangeable screen tiles, all woven together perfectly by invisible processing power.
The ultimate digital sorting facility, just turning your entire living room wall into a completely unified window.